morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this third day of the EU4Ocean training, which is organized by EuroGOOS, which is called From Lab to Public, Ocean Literacy in Action. We are discussing for 3 days how to make science more impactful for society through ocean literacy. We are here just assembling for the third day, but actually, the community is about 130 participants from 30 countries. You have been very active. We had many interactive polls, open discussions. We heard from inspirational speakers. We learned some things. We shared a lot of our wisdom and knowledge as well. So let's dive into this third and last day of our training. On the day one, on Monday, is it? Yes. We have explored ocean literacy, why it is important, what it is, how we can apply it in the context of research, education, policy. We also learn about the EU4Ocean Coalition, the global ocean literacy movement, which is spearheaded by UNESCO. We have also learned about the Ocean Decade Scientists for Ocean Literacy project, and I will tell a bit more about it as well today. And we have shared in an interactive Canva board a lot of ideas on what are the opportunities for us as people from scientific community and different career levels engage with our audiences, with our beneficiaries through ocean literacy. That was on Monday. Yesterday, we were listening from and learning a lot from very, very seasoned communicators who gave us some of the secrets of their trade, how to make ocean communication, science communication, more engaging, how to avoid common mistakes, how to remember that the audience has to really be interested in what you have to teach them. And finally, how to actually co-create knowledge together, which is much more effective than a one-way communication that we traditionally used to have between science and society. We also had a very nice interactive debate all together about do's and don'ts in science communication. And today, we are looking at different ocean literacy tools. We will see examples of things that you can use straight away, openly available online in your communication and ocean literacy activities. We will also learn a bit more about the different dimensions of ocean literacy, that it is not just about sharing knowledge, it is not just about being active as a stakeholder activist or promoting the values, but there are also many connections and dimensions in which we can connect with our beneficiaries, with our audiences, not just through the knowledge, not just through the information, not just even through science, but lots of different other dimensions. We will hear about that as well. And finally, we will all together design an activity, or actually several activities, 2 activities to be precise, that you can deploy yourselves, maybe starting tomorrow. So use today the capacity and creativity of this amazing crowd we are having here, and we can all together design something that we think could work as an ocean literacy activity. Before we continue and really dive into this third day, I would like to remind you about the EU4Ocean Coalition. We are really happy to be one of the founding members of this coalition here in EuroGOOS. This coalition brings together organizations, projects, and individuals around the topic of ocean literacy, helps align European policy priorities with what the society and stakeholders actually want, unites communities at different stages of their careers, from stakeholders and managers to youth to schools, and has lots of exciting events every year, meetings, campaigns, awards that you can easily join. So you have here a QR code, scan it, and you can see how to join this coalition. And today we are having on the program these fantastic speakers. Some of them will have just 5 minutes to share their wisdom with us, but please have your print screen or pens nearby so you can record what you need to look into later, so you can learn a bit more about each of the things that our speakers will be presented. And of course, this recording will be available online as well, so you will be able to rewatch it and to remember what you learned. Today, we are co-moderating this day with Anna Victoria Teresa, who is our consultant in EuroGOOS and Ocean Literacy. Good morning to all. Anna Teresa will update us about yesterday's brainstorming activity. We had a lot of discussions, a lot of creative ideas about do's and don'ts in communication. And Anna Victoria has assembled some key messages from yesterday. So I will stop sharing right now and you can fire off, please.
Hello, everybody. So yes, as Dina said, would be very good today to share some of the key insights from those 2 days. Well, so the first day, of course, we asked you about your ideas to ocean communication and ocean literacy, and we were able to understand that as this community that we are gathered here on those 3 days, we were able to identify why we want to engage with our public and our stakeholders is to build trust and relevance, ensure the adoption of solutions, connect science and society, and also ensure that we are creating a lasting impact. How do we want to engage with people? We want to listen and co-create, blend digital and in-person formats, share stories and visuals, and build long-term relationships with those that we are engaging. The key tools that we would like to use to do that are through events, traditional media, education, digital tools and social media, and also governance. And how would success look like? We would like to have, of course, empowered communities, ongoing collaboration, and tangible results when we talk about engaging people on ocean literacy and also making our science more available to the public. Yesterday was, as Dina said, a very exciting day because we were able to hear from 3 experts on ocean literacy, but also on science, which is the case of Eric Van Sibyl. And we were able to understand that actually science communication is a science itself. So it doesn't matter if we are using our Instagram, for example, to post about ocean literacy, to communicate about the ocean with a larger audience. We also need to measure if that works or not. It works for a campaign, it works for a project, it works for a video that we create. So we need to measure what works. We cannot assume that ocean communication will always function with our audiences. So that is a science per se. And having this seriousness when treating ocean communication was also a key learning from yesterday. Another aspect that we were able to learn from Tiago, for example, was that we need to include communication very early in our projects and activities. Actually, communication needs to be present in the conception of the projects because it's not a separated or last-minute task or activity that we will do. Or the last work package of the projects. It's actually a transversal team. So communication needs to be something that is embedded in our work as scientists as well, all the time. Another key finding from yesterday is that it's important to be ready for opportunities that appear. If we are able to talk to journalists, or if we are able to talk to the traditional media, or even to appear on a podcast, for example, to share a story, we need to be ready to bring this story as a clear message. So training your speech, having your message clear is also another aspect that we were able to learn from our speakers yesterday. you will probably have a limited time to speak, so your message needs to be clear. Another aspect that we learn, especially from Laura Sekrom, is that the format of our message is as important as our message. So the way that we bring this message with engagement, with posture, with voice tone is also important. Let's take the giant waves example that she brought yesterday. We had two presentations. Both presentations, they were about the same topic, but they were shown in a completely different way. And in the second one, which was the one that she used the design tools and collaborated with a designer to create that, we could see that the result was way more engaging. So use design tools, collaborate with artists, creatives, and communicate your message clear and with passion, which is the most important. Posture and voice tone are also invisible to us, but they are very visible to other people. So this is something that also will make your presentation very impactful to other people. And so as Dina said, today we will have this the examples of other speakers that we'll bring today. And our speakers will share real-world case studies to illustrate effective approaches to science communication. And today I would like to invite our first speaker to the floor, who is Dr. Emma McKinley, Senior Research Fellow at Cardiff University, who will present Exploring the Many Dimensions of Ocean Literacy and Why It Matters. So Emma, please, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much, Anna Victoria. I'm just sharing my slides, so hopefully they will show shortly. And if I don't hear from you, I will assume it's all okay. Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of today's session. As Anna Victoria said, my name is Emma McKinley. I'm a senior researcher at Cardiff University. And it's really great to be part of the session today. What an amazing set of talks and discussions you've had over the last couple of days. I'm going to talk to you today about how the concept of ocean literacy has evolved over the last 20 years and the multiple dimensions that we're now working with. And I suppose give some thoughts as to why that might matter for us as an ocean science and broader ocean research community, because I think we are increasingly bringing other areas of ocean research into conversations around ocean literacy. Oh, my slides don't want to move. There we go. So I'm sure this is something that you've talked about over the last couple of days, but really, I suppose, highlighting the importance of ocean literacy within the framework of the UN Ocean Decade and all of the ambitions and goals that's been setting over the last 5 years and onwards as we look towards 2030. I just wanted to highlight how important Challenge 10 here at the bottom is to the other dimensions and delivery of those dimensions.
Emma, your slides
yeah.
are not advancing, and you can try to swap the mode because I guess it's not in the presenter's one.
Oh, that's strange because I'm just sharing my screen.
We are now seeing the second slide, but not in presenter's mode.
Not in presenter mode. I've only got one screen. That's very strange. Oh dear.
It's been playing tricks with me.
Yeah, it's been playing tricks with us all morning. I don't know how to change that because I only have one screen. Let me just see if I can. From current slide, what are you seeing now?
Still the second slide and a deck. Yeah, not a full.
Yeah, I don't know how to amend that in because I don't. Let me
click
see.
From current slide, the slideshow. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I've done. Yeah, that's what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
Show present. But what are you seeing now?
Still the same.
Oh, okay. Hang on a second. No, it's not even giving me the option, and we might have to just go with it just rather than take time because it's not going to give me the option to change it. I'm afraid. I really hope you can see it big enough. Is that okay, Dina?
Yeah, absolutely no problem.
Yeah, and I can send my slides on. I can send my slides on. That's really strange. I've only got one screen, so I don't know why it's not giving us that option.
No problem at all. It's okay. I think we can all see. And
you can see? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
So I was just kind of saying that the importance of the Challenge 10 to delivering the other goals of the Ocean Decade is really important. So without understanding how we restore society's relationship with the ocean, without understanding ocean literacy, we can't therefore address challenge 1, which is understanding and beating marine pollution. We can't understand how to protect and restore ecosystems and biodiversity without having an understanding of social acceptability and how we engage communities in supporting that restoration effort. So ocean literacy challenge 10 is really crucial to the work that we're doing through the Ocean Decade. I think the other thing that we've seen in recent years is really this recognition of ocean literacy as an outcome. So through the Challenge 10 white paper that was published last year, there's been a movement away from ocean literacy as being this individual process. And I know that's been something that you'll have talked about over the last 2 days, to really think about how we as an ocean science community can foster and support a society that understands, values, and cares for the ocean, recognizing that in order to foster ocean literacy as this goal, as this outcome that we're working towards, we need to generate the motivation, the capability, and the opportunities for people to engage as we go forward. So information sharing and communicating science is not necessarily enough to drive those transformations that we need. We need to think about these multiple dimensions of ocean literacy, which is where the evolution of the concept has come in. Again, I'm sure this is something that you've talked about over the last 2 days, but I'm going to give us a quick whistle-stop tour through the evolution of ocean literacy in just 2 slides. So you'll know that at its very, very simplest, ocean literacy is framed as an understanding of the ocean's influence on us and our influence on the ocean. And historically, it's had these 3 dimensions that it's been grounded in, the ideas of knowledge, so somebody having the knowledge of ocean systems and being able to use that knowledge to then communicate effectively with their peers, so that second dimension of communication, and then being able to use that knowledge to make informed decisions and take informed action, so behavior. And for a long time, ocean literacy was really framed around those 3 dimensions of the concept and really grounded in the 7 ocean literacy principles. In 2019, there was a special issue of Frontiers in Marine Science where we started to see this shift in the thinking around ocean literacy and this embracing of there being multiple dimensions. So the image on the left of your screen where you can see the blue boxes still grounded the work.
The slides, change the slides. We still don't see it.
I'm really sorry.
No problem. Just move to the next slide and we can now see the second one.
I don't know, Dina, I don't know why it's not moving.
Okay, now we see the ocean literacy dimension slide. It's perfect.
Okay, that's right. Okay, well, I'll just keep it this way and then move. I'm really sorry. It's coming up on my screen absolutely fine. So I don't know why it's not working for you. Well, I'll move on to this slide and I'll wrap up a bit more quickly rather than take you too much time. Tech is always great in IT, isn't it? So anyway, so I was just saying that if I move to this slide and just finish what I was saying here. So in 2019, there was a special issue of Frontiers in Marine Science where there was a paper from Brennan et al. Which referenced and talked about 6 dimensions of ocean literacy. So they recognized those 3 original dimensions of knowledge, communication, and behavior, but then also embraced 3 additional dimensions of awareness, attitudes, and activism. So recognizing that in addition to knowing about ocean systems, there needed to be awareness of the threats and the challenges facing the ocean. There needed to be an understanding of people's attitudes towards ocean issues, and then an assessment or an evaluation of the kinds of activism activities that people were engaging in. More recently, myself and colleagues, so Daryl Burden and Rebecca Shellock, presented a 10-dimension model and framework of ocean literacy, where we recognized those 6 dimensions, so knowledge, behavior, communication, attitudes, activism, and awareness, but also suggested the need to embrace an additional 4 dimensions. So I'm going to talk through some of the expansions that we suggested through the original 6 dimensions. So for example, with knowledge, of course, understanding the knowledge of our ecosystems, our oceanographic processes continues to be incredibly important, and it should remain a center point of the science that we're communicating. But we also need to think about how we can ensure that people are knowledgeable of the opportunities for developing blue skills, of maritime careers, of how to engage in ocean governance processes. So knowledge is more than ocean science. It is embracing those indigenous and local knowledges. So really a much more diverse way of knowing ocean spaces. Another example of a dimension that we suggested an expansion to was the dimension of activism, where historically the focus has been on the types of activism activities that people were able to engage in, but we suggested actually there's also an important understanding to develop around the barriers to people's activism, whose activism is considered valid and valued, What are the barriers to people engaging in activism activities and why? Then if you go further around the circle at emotions, which is my favorite pun, there's a really important thing to think about in terms of the emotional connections that we have with ocean spaces and how that drives our motivation and our engagement with ocean issues. And I think crucially for us as an ocean science community, we need to think about how that relationship and those emotions can be really diverse. So that can range from positive, negative, or neutral emotions, and that's okay, and that we should need to be, I suppose, comfortable with recognizing that there is this whole suite and diversity of emotional relationships that people will have with ocean spaces. And we need to go to where people are when we're communicating, engaging them with our science, and think about why we got involved as ocean scientists. Most of us got involved because of an emotional connection or some sort of care and love for ocean spaces. So how do we harness that and use that to move our own communication forward? Access and experience, I think, is another dimension that's really important from a scientific communication perspective as well. It's thinking about how we can ensure our ocean science, our ocean research is more accessible, and that we're fostering diverse experiences through the ways that we're communicating our science to different people. And adaptive capacity was the next dimension that we suggested including. So that is how able to adapt and respond to change individuals, communities, institutions might be. And again, that's really crucial for how we communicate information about how our ocean systems are changing, how people might be able to get engaged and be involved in that. So for me, it's a really crucial dimension as we consider to think about how ocean literacy is evolving and changing throughout the next few years. And then finally, the final additional dimension that we suggested was around trust and transparency. So how trusted is information that is the information we're sharing? How trusted are the institutions sharing that information? And how transparent are processes that people can get involved in, and how transparent do they feel those processes are? So I think it's really important as we think about ocean literacy and how we engage with that concept as scientists, as researchers, that we're embracing that whole set of dimensions and considering how that might influence how we're communicating our ocean science. And I think I mentioned this just a second ago, that we might have this sense of love and connection with our ocean environment, but of course there is a whole set of emotions as represented by the characters from Inside Out, and you'll have all sorts of different feelings around fear and anger and nervousness and anxiety, but also joy and inspiration and love and awe and wonder. And all of those things will have an influence on somebody's ocean connection and their ocean literacy. As I come to the end, and I'm really sorry about the additional time that was taken because of the tech glitches, but I just wanted to highlight one area where we're really trying to align ocean literacy research and insight gathering with some strategic communication efforts. So working with a whole set of global collaborators, we've been developing the Ocean and Society Survey over the last couple of years. And this is a really collaborative research tool to help us gather insights from around the world on how people feel, think, engage with ocean issues, and what influences those relationships. And I think what we've been really trying to do is work with strategic communications experts, as well as a series of marine social scientists and ocean literacy experts, to develop a data collection tool that will help us gather useful insights to feed into our strategic communications around ocean issues on a global scale. And if you want to know more information about that piece of work, you can scan the QR code on the slides. And as I said, I'll send the slides around to Dina and Anna Vittoria later to make sure they're accessible to you. So just some takeaways really as I finish up. I think we need to respond to increasing calls to challenge the business as usual approaches to how we do ocean science and ocean research. There's an opportunity for us here to use ocean literacy and the evolution of that concept to really champion and embrace transdisciplinarity and whole system, whole society thinking to ensure that we're engaging diverse audiences and communicating our science and our research to as broad a possible audience as possible. There's therefore a need for us to diversify the way that we do ocean research and practice and how we communicate that. And I know that you talked a lot about that yesterday, and we'll continue to do that today. Centering meaningful and equitable co-design, as Anna Vittoria said, to really think about how we co-design knowledge and recognize that the ocean science and research that we do is broad and deep, with a really amazing, rich community of research and practice. So we can build on that and work together to operationalize each of these different goals that we're working towards. So thank you very, very much. Again, I'm really sorry about the tech issue, and I hope that gave you some useful insights into how the concept of ocean literacy is evolving and how we as ocean scientists and ocean researchers may be able to use that going forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emma. And it's fantastic to hear from you also this emotion dimension of ocean literacy. It's something that I also believe we should bring to our communication, especially because, as you said, it's what brought us to this area. We cannot forget about this aspect as well, because it is what will make people feel inspired as well. So I would like now to ask all of you to open your cameras, because this is something that I forgot to mention in the beginning. We will again have another very interactive day. So please open your cameras, because later we will also discuss with you. And next, we will hear from Corinne Derval, Head of Portfolio and Stakeholder Engagement at Mercator Ocean International, with her talk on introducing the Copernicus Marine Service and how the ocean explainers make science more accessible. So please, up to you, Corinne.
Yes. Good morning. Thank you very much, Anna. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Can you see?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So, okay. And now?
Now, yes.
Not. Sorry. I try again. So I'm going to up. And now?
Yes, we see.
Just the full screen, maybe, Corinne.
Yes.
And the top.
Is it okay now?
Yes.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Can you see in full screen mode?
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you very much. So hello, my name is Corinne Derval. So I work at Mercator Ocean International. Mercator Ocean is the untrusted entity for the Copernicus Marine Service. So today I will guide you through the ocean explainers. So this is a section of the Copernicus Marine website that makes ocean science more accessible and understandable for everyone. But before going into the explainers, let me first give you a few words about the Copernicus program. So Copernicus is the European Earth Observation Program. It provides full, free and open access to data and services across 6 domains: atmosphere, marine environment, land, climate change, emergency management, and security. So since 2014, Mercator Ocean has been the entity entrusted by the European Commission to operate the Marine Service. So let's focus on the service dedicated to the ocean. The Copernicus Marine Service is dedicated to monitoring and forecasting the ocean. It delivers a satellite, in situ and model-based ocean data and forecast for the blue, the white, and the green ocean. So the blue is for the physical parameters, current, salinity, waves. The white for the sea ice parameters, and the green for the biogeochemical parameters like chlorophyll, nutrient, oxygen, and many others. The Copernicus Marine Service is the European reference for describing the ocean's present, past, and future state. And of course, all this information is made available to users worldwide through a dedicated online portal. So, yes. Through the Copernicus Marine portal, you can access all these products and services. It provides scientific data for experts, but also more accessible resources for a broader audience, such as the ocean explainers. This is really a bridge between science and society. So now let's go directly into this explainer section to see how it works. I'm trying to open now. So can you see the page?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So the ocean explainer section, so maybe I can go back just a bit to show you where on the website of Copernicus service you can access this explainer. So you can go to the services, and then you have this dedicated section called Ocean Explainers. So we are here now. So the Ocean Explainer section is designed to make a complex concepts of oceanography easier to understand. It explains the role of the ocean, the threat it faces, and the policies established to protect it. The section is organized into three main themes. First, why is the ocean important? The ocean roles in the Earth system and the blue economy. It highlights why the ocean is essential for our lives. Secondly, operational oceanography, satellite models, and in-situ observation. This section explains how science and technology allow us to monitor the ocean in real time, and the phenomena and threats. So the climate change, ocean warming, acidification, plastic pollution, and other pressures. It raises awareness of the threats challenging the ocean and its ecosystem. So in addition, you can find also a section about policies. This is an introduction to international and European directives that guide ocean protection, linking science with policy, and also a glossary with simple definition of scientific terms. So to make this more concrete, let me now take one example from the phenomena and threats section here. And so if we choose, for example, the ocean warming, so this you can find, clicking back, yes. You can find an infographic that illustrates how the excess energy caused by greenhouse gas emissions is absorbed by the Earth system. We see that 1% warms the atmosphere, 4% warms the cryosphere, ice on glacier, and 6% warms the land, and 89% is absorbed by the ocean. So in other words, the ocean is our main climate regulator. The visible consequences include rising global sea surface temperature, melting sea ice, rising sea levels, coral bleaching, declining marine biodiversity, and stronger extreme events such as hurricanes. So this graphic clearly shows that the ocean lies at the heart of the planet's energy balance. So on the dedicated page about ocean warning, you will also find more details, an introduction highlighting that more than 90% of excess heat from human activity is absorbed by the ocean, explanations of the causes like CO2 emissions on the Earth's energy imbalance, the impacts including sea level rise, marine waves, habitat loss, and coral bleaching, and as well as the direct connection to society, such as risk for fisheries, coastal community, food security, and so on. And finally, the page also links to graphics, simple definition, and scientific references, including the Ocean State Report, showing the ocean monitoring indicator. So a few words about this Ocean State Report. Every year, the Copernicus Marine Service publish this report, which provides a comprehensive assessment of the health of the global ocean and European regional seas. It highlights long-term trends, climate indicators, and the impact of change on marine ecosystem and society. So with this example, you can see how the explainers turn complex science into simple, impactful messages with very nice infographics. So yes, to conclude, the ocean explainers that you can find on the Copernicus Marine Service pages are a simple and effective gateway to understand complex ocean phenomena. They combine clear visuals with accessible explanations and many links for maybe more expert users. We want to find other documentation or articles with ocean information, scientific information. And so this helps raise awareness among the general public and support the dialogue between science and policy. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Corinne. And following now Corinne's presentation, I would like to call Kira Cooley, who is the head of communications at who is the head of communications at Ocean Census, and she will share some practical tips on how to share science effectively and meaningfully. So please, Kira, up to you.
Thank you very much. I just want to make sure that my screen is big enough, as I know we've had some technical difficulties already.
We see. We see it.
This is big enough for people. Okay,
Yes.
brilliant. All right, wonderful. Yes, good morning. My name is Kira Coley. I'm Head of Communications at Ocean Census, Strategic Communications Advisor and a member of the Leading Women for the Ocean. Please do check out their website. I've been working in communications for over a decade, and my job is to make sure world-class science doesn't just sit in journals, it shapes headlines, policy, and public awareness. So I just want to start off by asking you all to imagine discovering a seamount that is over 3,900 meters tall. That might have value to a scientist or to everyone in this room, but without context, it means very little to a journalist. Now, I'd like you to imagine discovering a mountain taller than Olympus under the sea. So that's exactly the kind of headline that made global news last year. The science was solid, but it was the storytelling that got it published. If you want your discoveries to reach beyond the lab, you need to know how to work with journalists. It's nice to hear the recap, but this has already been discussed. And that's what I'll share with you today, 3 golden rules that will help your science make headlines. So getting into it, it's rule number 1, start before the story. Don't wait until you have a paper out. Start building your relationships early. Identify journalists who regularly cover marine science and reach out to them now with a short introduction. Tell them about your research area and even comment on a recent article of theirs to show that you're engaged. I would recommend creating a simple spreadsheet of target journalists and their contact details. And also try to follow and engage with them on social media because many science journalists use these platforms to source stories and contacts. Rule number 2, make their job easy. Journalists are time poor. They're looking for clear, accessible summaries, not your full paper. They need great visuals, and I'm glad to see that some of this has already been addressed. We need photos, videos, diagrams. So you need to start thinking about this before you begin your science activities. It's hard to get published in the media without these. Quotes, they need to be pre-prepared and punchy and in plain language. And timeliness, you need to link your science outputs to current events, news cycles, or bigger trends. COP is coming up. That's a really great opportunity to connect your science to something that a lot of people are going to be covering in the news. A really good tip here is to use a media briefing pack that includes a short, jargon-free summary of your work, high-resolution visuals, contact information, and key messages, ideally no more than 3. I'm sure some of this has been covered already, but I just wanted to share some more advice in terms of how to develop those key messages. I like to use the 3-sentence story. So that includes the hook, which is a surprising fact or a vivid image. So for example, beneath this particular location, we've just uncovered a new species, for example, something no one has ever seen before. Then number 2, why does it matter? What is that big picture relevance? It's a glimpse into how much life in our ocean remains undiscovered at a time when biodiversity loss and climate change make these findings more urgent than ever. And then number 3, why now? What's next? What is that call to action? And that is really important and something that gets left out regularly. And that is an example here is this discovery is part of X, Y, and Z project or expedition. And we're making the data, images, and scientists available so the world can see what's at stake. And I've got another example just on the side of the screen there, which I hope you'll have time to review later on. And then once you've developed your 3-sentence story and your key messages, I hope that will allow you to do rule number 3, and that is pitch like a pro. So when you are emailing the journalists and telling them all about your wonderful science, you need to keep it short and sharp, and that is no more than 7 sentences max, ideally. The subject line matters. Please remember that editors can receive hundreds of pictures every day, and I mean hundreds. So make sure you're using a hook, something that's catchy and will really emphasize the significance of your work in the subject line. Include the why now and why this is important today, and also what resources are available. Remember when we talk about making life as easy as possible as journalists, so how are you able to do that for them? If a journalist does reach out, please reply quickly, even if it's just to say that you'll get back to them in a few hours, and be willing to adapt your message for different outlets. So TV, print, digital, they all require slightly different ways to tell a story. So be open to working with the journalist and adjusting your message accordingly. I won't have time to go through this today, but I hope this will be a helpful example where you can see there is a hook being used in the subject line of, for example, pitch. Your 3-sentence story can make up the base of your email. You're including a section about resources, what is available to a journalist to make their life easy once again, and you're offering access at the end. So in this, I'm offering to share access under embargo or connecting the journalist to the science team. So journalists want what you have. They want this new knowledge. They want those discoveries, but they need it fast, simple, and visual. So you need to build those relationships, make their job easy, and pitch with impact, because if you don't tell your story well, someone else will, or worse, it won't be told at all. So please do today start offering yourself as a background expert, even for these off-record briefings. Invite them to join an expedition or visit the lab. Co-create a science column or explainer series, and even offer to provide access to your publication before it's been printed. Science has never been more important, but the world only knows what it hears, so don't let your discovery stay in the lab. Give them a voice, work with journalists, tell your story well, and make sure your science has the impact it deserves. So please do get in touch if I could be of any help to anyone in this space, and do connect with me on LinkedIn as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kira. Very interesting what you said, because we want to have those our science published, our stories published, but we forget that we are competing for space in the news, and having this message clear, especially for traditional media and journalists, is highly important because we make the job easier for them.
Well, it is, and if I can have one point on that before we move on, I like to tell people that everyone's science is super exciting, but it is right to highlight it is a competitive space. So having visuals, really understanding the journalist and understanding their needs and wants and how to work with them. Consider yourself a source and try to be as helpful as possible. Don't just assume that they're going to publish your work because you've discovered something and you're excited about it. You have to really make sure that you're connecting the significance to in a wider context.
Thank you so much, Kira. After Kira, we will hear from Carla Lourenço, who is the communication focal point at CORDAP and also EU4Ocean member. And Carla will present the communicating science is like playing a piano, and it's all about rhythm and harmony. So please, Carla, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. So great to come immediately after Kira, because she was talking about journalists and I will be talking about other kinds of public. So I hope that this is helpful for you and that you can take some lessons. Unfortunately, I won't be playing the piano for you today. If we had more time, that would be, but let me then get into this. I will give you a couple of lessons on why playing the piano, it's like doing science communication. There's always stuff that we need to do in both fields. And we just need some lessons to get started. One, we need to know our audience. So who is our audience? Are they school kids? Is it a tech company? Are governmental agents? Who will be listening to what we have to say? Because that matters a lot. I wouldn't be playing Chopin to a fan of Taylor Swift, for instance, right? So we need to know who our audience is. This is the first lesson, and adapt to it. Then, after considering our audience, we need to think about the format. So it might be a journalist, like Kira was explaining, and for them it will be a certain format, which is not the same as if you were doing a video for social media. So when thinking about the format, you should also think about how long do you have, in case if it's a video, for instance, and for social media, you know that 10 minutes won't be the greatest product that you will deliver. So how long do you have? Do you have, or will you use some visual support? If you're doing a talk, for instance, what's the space like? Know your place so that you can use it as much as possible and in the best way possible, so that you deliver a communication that adds value to your audience. So after audience and format, we go to lesson number 3, which is the message. Again, as Kira was saying, we as scientists, we have all of these content that we want to put out, and the tiny things are really important for us. But maybe for the journalists or for a wider public, for a tech company, they don't really care about the small details. So we need to focus on the message we want to deliver. What do we want to convey? What is the central and the most important part of the message? Is it the mountain that was discovered? Is it the species that was discovered? We can remove all the other details and focus on that. We need to make it simple. Also because we don't want to send a lot of different messages going around and then make the public get confused with it. So keep it simple and target the main message. Then lesson number 4, a storyline. Who's the protagonist of your story? Maybe it's a Portuguese researcher who found something, and I could pitch that, for instance, to the media, because it would be about Portugal or about Portuguese researchers, and they would be interested, comparing if it's, I don't know, researcher from Papua New Guinea, who are not directly related to Portugal. So who's your protagonist? What is the drama, the conflict? What is the story behind it? And following what's the problem, or identifying the problem, how are these protagonists solving this issue? So you have to bring new information and, well, in this sense, include what's new and what other people may gain or lose with this kind of information that you're putting out there. Lesson number 5, emotion. And I know that we see science as something very factual, very straightforward, black or white. But what we have been seeing is that miscommunication and fake news are spreading like wildfires. And why? Because they use emotion. So we need to use that component and make science more relatable to the public. We can add a sense of emotion to our message and to our storyline without compromising the content. If I tell you that the ocean serves as a cabinet, as a medicine cabinet, because there's a lot of compounds out there that we use, it maybe this information is like, yeah, okay, it's important. But if I tell you that in coral reefs we can find the medicine compounds that we can use to treat my grandparent my grandfather who has Alzheimer, or yours, this is a bit different, right? Because we immediately feel connected to the science and to the ocean. So emotion is also very, very important. Show your data in a human way. Then practice. This is really like piano. We need to practice all the time. If we are talking to an audience, if we are writing to a journalist, we need to keep practicing. In case of being in-person meeting or talk, present to real people. Get feedback from someone that is not from your field, because that's when you will get the probably most valuable feedback, because you're communicating to someone who doesn't know anything from what regarding what you're saying. So that's really, really important. And if I can add one more, the bonus lesson is to fail. Try different styles, try different publics, different ideas, different formats, take risks, and don't settle. Failing is really important. It gives us the experience we need to succeed. It's always about failing and about improving. So don't be afraid of failing. That's part of the journey, whether you're playing piano or doing science communication. And yes, just remember that we can all be piano players and science communicators. We just need to commit to it. And the best moment to start is now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Carla. Very important, this point of failing, and I just remembered of the talk from yesterday as well from Eric Van Sebil of the science behind science communication. So we need to remember that also science has a process behind, and failing is part of the process. So we need to test, and testing is what will lead us to the best way possible to communicate the science. Thank you, Carla. So next, Shudanshu Verma will share with us examples from the EU4Ocean Coalition and also strategies to engage the audiences in this project through campaigns like the Make EU Blue. So today we will hear as well some practices of what has been done in this project, which is the EU4Ocean Coalition. This training is organized in the context of this coalition. So please, Shudanshu, he's the managing partner at Revolve.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, so as Anna mentioned, I think I'm managing partner of Revolve, and we've been managing communication for EU4Ocean Coalition for last almost 3 years. And just wanted to share some experience. And I think a lot of good points are already covered by Akira and Carla about engaging with different audiences and messaging. So I'm going to just focus on one case study of a campaign that we're running, which is Make EU Blue, and the media training we organized in 2023. So Make EU Blue is a campaign where we are mobilizing citizens to call on their local leaders to act for the ocean. What we did, we created a single petition model for the citizen to sign. And with every threshold of number of signatures, we're reaching out to the city, the municipality, to adopt certain ocean-friendly policies. We created a simple 10-step guide, which is based on what already exists that each city can do to have a more ocean-friendly policies. The whole idea was, this is currently the status of the campaign, where we are getting highest amount of signature on the petition. Our target was to get 10,000 signatures. We already crossed that. We are at 12,000, and we still have a month to go. We wanted to engage 20 cities. We already engaging with 36. How did we reach to that success? We use integrated comms. What we didn't do is just run social media. We partnered with a lot of organizations. We ran a lot of events and backed up along with the campaign that was running digitally. We organized beach cleanup events. We hosted booths. For example, I'm just going to follow up on what we did last week. So during the World Cleanup Day, we organized beach cleanup in Austin. We organized beach cleanup in Barcelona. At the same time, we had a Sound of the Ocean booth in the Brussels city center. And at the same time, we were running paid campaign on all the Meta platform, asking people not to sign the petition, but join us for the beach cleanup, or come and listen to the Sound of Ocean in the Brussels city center at the booth. We ran the ads from 16th to 20th September, and we received 2,500 signatures in just that period, which is 25% of our overall target that was set for 6 months. We had more than 200,000 impressions. We had almost 6,000 clicks. And if you've been part of any paid campaigns on social media, the social ads, advocacy ads, political ads, usually the CTRs are not that good, or the conversion rate. You have, so for us, this was a really value for money. We had performed better than the average. What we also saw that, different demographic, different gender had different, response to, and so we adjusted our campaign to get the best output. So what we learned by doing this once ad set is that we focus a lot of our budget on weekends. We get higher responses. We kept this, and I think it's already mentioned before, you have to keep the ask very simple to people. The moment it's complicated, they will not follow through. So for us, it was simple. Just join us. And nothing else. We didn't ask for it. Just come and join us. And people followed through the steps of, signing the petition or not. That was open for them. And we always use different creative sets to see if which demographic accept which creative set during the campaign. Do some A/B testing of, which campaign or message, the visual or the messaging is working better, and keep adapting accordingly. So this is what we did. We ran the campaign for the whole week. At the same time, there was a booth, which is on the right side. The photo is from the booth in Brussels. The bottom one is the beach cleanup in Barcelona, and the left one is the beach cleanup in Ostend. All these three, the 4 things running at the same time in that week gave us the high output. And yeah, we also work a lot with data when we're designing the campaign to see and modify. For example, we were looking at how much of clicks we had just on the day of the cleaning, which was on September 20 on Saturday. And we see the spike on that particular day. And so a lot of people did see the ad. Not all of them showed up at the beach cleanup, but they did open the petition and sign it. So what is our blueprint of running a campaign like this? We start with one clear behavior. Just sign the petition. We don't ask you to contact your city. You don't ask you to do anything else. Just sign the petition. One single thing you have to take care of. We map the audiences. We map the trusted messengers. In this case, we have a lot of partners who joined us, who already had a credible voice in this area. And we built the ecosystem around them. We built a simple messaging. And how we do it, we have 1 ask and 3 reasons. Why sign the petition? And 3 reasons for reason for signing the petition. We create the engagement ladder always. What happens when you have 500 signatures, when you have 1,000 signatures? So there is a bit of gamification, and there is a bit of incentive to keep asking your friends and colleagues to go and sign the petition. And we do plan moments on the calendar to time the local stories. Like there was a festival in Frankfurt where we went to. We got 2,000 signatures from there. We went to a market event in Gijón, in Spain. That gave us a lot of boost. And this photo is from the EuroGOOS. That also gave us a lot of boost in terms of signatures. So we do link it with looking at different events and moments within the campaign calendar and how we maximize them. So when we're designing the campaign, we were also looking at, we have to check the capability, opportunity, and motivation of our audience. And it needs to be very clear, before we actually go ahead with it. And if any of them is weak, we make sure we fix it before we launch the campaign. Pick one behavior per audience. Like I said, you sign the petition, or you host a school activity, or you join us for the beach cleanup. We never have multiple behavior or action. we look at the barriers, like, engaging with city official is difficult in this case because, it's not always clear whom to contact in the city. But we wanted to make it easier for city officials once we do reach out to them. And that's why we created this action guide for the cities. Because, okay, we're asking them to take some action, but it has to clarify or simplify what action they need to take for them able to engage with us. So we created this 10 action, which is mostly already like, you can sign up for the mission border charter and so on. So we have these 10 simple actions that they could take that allow them to engage with us and join the campaign. So these are the partners. Like I said, we created this whole ecosystem with partners, and that helped us to, reach out to so many people, host a lot of local engagement, and joint event. We shared a digital content calendar. We created a toolkit with them, and that allow us to, go into new areas or new audiences that we couldn't directly reach. Also, I mean, we work with this fast. We fill in for them or remove the steps to simplify as much as possible for the audience, so they don't have to do too much. We make the benefit attractive. So, highlight the milestones like, okay, your city is leading or your city is second. If you get 10 more signatures, your city is the leader in this. So help us get more 10 signatures in your city. We use the action on social platforms. Like, for example, we created these postcards where people who signed up the petition, they gave a reason why they're interested in this campaign, and we used it as a promotion. We also make sure that we use interaction in different events. So we have this, like I mentioned, we use the key moments to get the most out of them. Then I wanted to cover one activity we did in 2023, the EU4Ocean media training. We did this 2 online session on 2nd and 3rd of October. We had over 165 journalists as participants. Of that, 60 were journalists, 100 other stakeholders. And we did a survey which gave average rating of 4.5. What we were looking at was, even for journalists, if you worked in a newsroom, it's intense. And a lot of time you just focus on what is the most breaking news. But a lot of time they also want to cover the stories in the way it should be. And so the idea was that, there must be some media literacy around ocean. And that's where we organized, like, how you cover the stories, how you frame the narrative, that, you do it in a responsible way. We made sure that, we link the stories to the human stories. So data points, everything that needs to be linked to the human story to make it more, to connect the audience better. So we ran this training for 2 days. It was a great success. We received a lot of positive feedback. Now what we're doing is replicating the same media training for different topics. From ocean, now we're running on climate adaptation. And now we're also working on creating a short handbook for journalists on when they're covering certain stories for how they can cover it better. And I think we ran we did a mini case during that session on sinking cities, because some people from sinking cities, even journalists who were there at the session, about how they can cover. It's an interesting project if you Google and look at the sinking cities project. What we're looking at, how do we balance the narrative between urgency, which is risk of millions of people, and how cities are adapting through policy infrastructure to the solution. So what was output was, we need to have this balance between making the story human, the urgency, but also solution. So it is not hopeless, what we're talking about. And so this had a good response from all the journalists that participated during the training. And that would, and overall, for the last almost 3 years, some of the lessons we have learned by running a communication for a platform like EU4Ocean, you can easily get bogged down with high volume of activities. There's so much happening there. And if you do get bogged down, then you have a risk of becoming very fragmented. There will be no strategy. approach to the communication, but you'll keep doing bits and pieces. In ocean literacy especially, there is so much activity on grassroots. And when the information flow is not clear and there are gaps, you have so many missed opportunity, because suddenly we find out, oh, 2 months ago, there was a brilliant activity done by youth in the Baltic. And you find out after 6 weeks, the story is already dated. And there's so much missed opportunities because of the gap of information flow. And without strategic planning, efforts can be, like I said, it correlates to the first point, where you end up doing a lot of effort, but less impact. So it's applicable not just for EU4Ocean, but any large umbrella organization. Without strategic planning, you can end up doing a lot of communication, but you will still not see a lot of impact. And some of the things that we learned in terms of solutions and good practices, if your organization or the project you're running requires collaboration, then you need some sort of collaborative planning tool. Like, for example, we use Trello, where we have all the campaigns and content collaborated, so all partners can use. And so it's easy to use the multipliers. And we used a lot of, there's a lot of potential in this sector, and we have not worked a lot on ocean literacy except EU4Ocean. So for us, we learned a lot along the way. About ocean literacy and the sector. And in this sector, there is so much potential of partnerships and multipliers that everybody wants to help, and every organization wants to do their bit. And if you use it well, you can really extend the reach. And campaign integration definitely pays off. Like you can see, Make EU Blue has a good result, but this is based on the partnership and collaboration that was not just about the coalition and the members of the coalition, but everybody that is working on the ocean literacy. We try to get partnership from music festival to organizations that are the surf riders, or even EuroGOOS helped us to reach out to their audiences. These partnership and collaboration can really help you have a large EU-wide visibility.
Thank you very much. This is fantastic to see that EU4Ocean is able to galvanize different new partnerships in ocean literacy. And I hope that this webinar and this training is also a platform for us all to connect, reconnect, and find new connections. So I think here is a point when I can say a few words as well about what we do in ocean literacy in EuroGOOS. Some of this was a little bit shared on the first day, but let me go a little bit more into the into the details, but not too much of detail. Don't worry, my talk will be short, but I hope that you will learn something and you will find some new examples of how we can engage in ocean literacy through scientific collaboration amongst scientific institutions and scientific practitioners and scientists. So first, are you seeing my screen all right? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Bingo. That's one good thing. So, well, there is no point of asking this question to you. What is the role of science in achieving sustainability? This is a little provocation. I mean, obviously, we know that science is absolutely paramount, but we also learned and we discussed, and many of you have shared, that it's not just science. There is many different elements that have to help science to make real impact on society. So I'm gonna say a few words about our Ocean Decade activity, which is called Scientists for Ocean Literacy. I would like to point out that while we are speaking about ocean literacy for 3 days, and many more before and many more after, what exactly ocean literacy is and how it translates in most of the languages is not necessarily the same thing. So if you don't like ocean literacy, it doesn't mean anything for your local community, for your audience, or for your language. Say something different. Ocean culture is perfect. Ocean education, you could look for terms that work. In some cases, we don't speak of the sea, we speak of the ocean, we speak of the sea. We had fantastic ocean literacy activities in the Black Sea, and there people are like, the ocean literacy, well, that's not for us because we are here in the Black Sea, right? So Mediterranean Sea feel the same. We are using the word sea here, not ocean. So just a little note on this, and in EuroGOOS, of course, for us, whether we call it ocean literacy or not, the rose is the rose by any other name. We are still working on engaging society in marine science through engaging methods. And here I would like to pause for a second. This new societal contract of science is a concept which is really inspiring. It is not new. It was first coined by Michael Gibbons in 1999. And here he made quite an impactful publication in Nature, saying that we used to look at science as something which is delivering wisdom and knowledge in its own way, according to its own rules. We trust that they're going to do the best because scientists are somewhat in an ivory tower doing important work. And then if we want to communicate the science, all we have to do is bring science to society in a direct kind of linear approach. Well, new societal contract of science implies that there is a contract between science and society, and those two elements are peers in this interaction. It's not coming from science to society in some kind of hierarchical manner. We are here in an area of co-design, transparency, and engagement. So this is a scientist's role to engage with society, not just hope for funding opportunities or for making more research because they find that these are important scientific questions. There is something that is here about not just giving back, but also listening to society's requests, having science more participatory. And we are seeing already, even in ocean observations, that citizen science is really peaking. Participatory science, democratic science, inclusive science. Emma has mentioned indigenous community. What is science and what is knowledge, and what kind of things we bring to the table from different aspects and different dimensions to have the action for the ocean all together and approach sustainability again together. So EuroGOOS is the European Global Ocean Observing System. I have shown this graphic briefly on the first day. We are a community of ocean knowledge experts, either oceanographers or ocean observers, modelers, forecasters. We work closely with Marine Copernicus, Copernicus Marine Service, with EMODNet, with data services, with the EU, with the UN Ocean Decade, and every other platform or collaborative instrument or service that is linking marine knowledge with the users of this marine knowledge. We have been around for more than 30 years, but it's only for the last less than a decade that we are really deeply interested in ocean literacy, because we try to connect what we know about the ocean to what society can do about it with us together. We have an ocean literacy network and working group. This is a slightly outdated map. Actually, we have 25 organizations in this network. And on the basis of this network, we created an Ocean Decade Action, which is called Scientists for Ocean Literacy. You can find these details on the Ocean Decade website. We say ocean can inspire different things. For different people, it can fascinate them, it can intrigue them, it can frighten them. But for us, the ocean is our daily work. We really know the ocean as a community in EuroGOOS and marine scientists. But we would like to engage the public on what we know and really have a conversation about what they need to know, what they are interested about, and what we can bring them and how we can construct this knowledge together. So we are working in this action in the UN Ocean Decade across different dimensions, as you see here mentioned on my slide. And we are doing many things. These are just, if you like, newspaper clippings from various activities in 2022, relatively early when we established our active network. we were co-organizing with UNESCO the first Ocean Literacy Summit, which was supposed to be a live event, but happened online because if you remember, June 2020 was in the midst, not even at the beginning of the pandemic. We have events at the European Maritime Day, we have online campaigns, we have activities in schools. Here, for example, you see me presenting in a Brussels school, but an expert, a marine scientist joining me is from Galway, and we are co-constructing the session together between science, communication, and engagement with the school children. We speak at various policy relevant events like ocean literacy dialogues. And on the bottom right, you see our scientific poster for a scientific conference. So we try to spice up a little bit of scientific communication as well, with not having generic, dull scientific posters with graphics and a lot of text and numbers. Try to bring some spark of creativity and engagement there too. And of course, we are a founding member of the EU4Ocean platform and coalition. We are very happy to be with the coalition, and from the very beginning, we are there supporting them in various ways. You have seen that we have a resource library, so you can scan this QR code. You can find lots of materials that were developed by our scientists in the network, and for different types of audiences, small, young, mid-career, adults, I don't know, you name it. You can look at what it is to become an oceanographer, how to promote women as marine scientists. You can have games, coloring pages. You can also find my book, The Ocean is My Home. We have been able to translate it in many languages already. And what happened actually, I wrote a book in 2017 and had a chance to launch it at our ocean conference, which was a big political event. But scientists in our community, and I was the ones I was talking to, and it continues growing, were so excited about the fact that there was a book that is written within our community about something that they do, that they started translating it. So all the translations actually that you see listed here were made by scientists themselves, marine scientists translating a child book. So this is something that I think is a fun case study as well in itself. So if you have creative vibes, don't hesitate to launch yourself in this adventure. It is really feeling great to have achieved that. We also published something more, let's say, adult as literature. For example, our policy brief on ocean literacy in European oceanographic agencies, where we are putting forward some recommendations on how marine research funders, how marine research managers, ministries, but also broader ocean decade stakeholders can help us be better in ocean literacy, how they can embrace the opportunities that ocean literacy offers to engage society in restoring our relationship with the ocean, and how they can better fund it, support it, and provide impact assessment for it. And the latest publication that we have is a Springer publication, which will be released in December in open access. And here we are having a set of, actually a whole chapter, which was co-designed by 14 experts from our working group, organizations, marine organizations, research institutes from lots of different countries in Europe. And we didn't just assemble our case studies because I thought, okay, it's very exciting to read about other people's work and see that there are some lessons learned from it. This is really important. But we also put forward some recommendations, and these are the 5 recommendations we put forward in this publication. The importance of delivering knowledge with stakeholders and citizens, the importance of inclusivity, and we have talked about this a lot. Accessibility was strongly emphasized yesterday by Laura, for example. The importance of combining cleverly digital and hands-on experiences. You can't compete, you have to have them complementary. The importance of crossing boundaries across disciplines. It's not that easy because even in marine science, there are so many disciplines, and sometimes it's not so easy to cross those boundaries for modelers to speak with observers. But here we are looking at crossing boundaries for communicators, political scientists, behavior scientists to work with marine scientists on different aspects. And the importance of sustaining it. even though ocean literacy, as Darshus has said, is really everywhere here in Brussels, you hear it all the time. In reality, it is not really fully sustained. It is not really well supported. And we want to reiterate the message to our funders. If you want to have engaged society, please fund ocean literacy. These are some snapshots of different events and activities that our members are having, as you can see, spanning art, digital tools, upcycling, lectures, interactive experiences. And this is my final closing here for this little introduction on ocean literacy in EuroGOOS. You have the resources scan and also my contact details if you want to continue this conversation.
Thank you.
And here I will move back. I will pass back to Anna with the continuation. We will be having some exciting activity, and everybody please put on your cameras if you haven't yet done so. Be active, be relaxed. It's a safe space. We want to hear from you. We want to play together how we can make ocean literacy more impactful. So Anna, up to you to introduce the session.
Thank you so much, Dina. So it's always very good also to hear from you and from EuroGOOS work, because we see how ocean literacy can be adapted to so many targets and different audiences, from children to also policymakers. So yes, we will now conduct this interactive activity. We will split into two groups. Me and Dina will take care of those two groups. We'll be moderating those two groups, and we will vote on the topics that we would like to discuss via Mentimeter. So we want you also to use Mentimeter now as a word cloud, because we would like to know the audiences that you will choose to work on this activity. You can choose from schools, from policymakers, to industry, to government. You can include your ideas on this Mentimeter. And later in this group, we will map the issues that we want this target group to understand. We will define a problem, an audience, actions, and key stakeholders. And we will also design one specific activity for them, writing a clear message, a clear title, objectives, resources. So it will be a very hands-on exercise. So let me share the Mentimeter with you for 1 minute, so you can already, I'm sorry, it's not this Mentimeter yet, it's the other one.
So I have put the link now on the chat.
But I will be sharing with you so we can also see.
Yes, and yeah, I know it's share. I see some people already participating. That's great. So in the chat, you see the link. Click it and join. And thank you for sharing, Anna. Now we can see
Yes,
the reactions of everybody.
students.
You also have here a QR code. So if you haven't seen the chat, you can also scan the QR code and join from your phone, for example.
Students, schools, policymakers, youth, local people. We'll see the biggest ones, and we will pick from that in 1 minute. I see we have 59 people on Mentimeter, but we have more people on the session. So if everyone could join us, would be great. Students, policymakers, local communities, local people.
Seems like we have some winners already, more or less. And this could actually make very good two groups, no? If we are looking at policymakers and students, for example.
Exactly. I also think. Okay, I think we are. we are set with students and policymakers, because those two groups appeared from the beginning and they remain big.
Okay, I think we're good. So youth, students, policymakers, I guess, yeah, either youth or students we need to define, but that perhaps the group can define. Maybe we can have a broader definition, like broader grouping youth or students, and the group could decide whether they target students, which means, yeah, I guess school students, university students, or youth, which, yeah, I guess it is somehow the same, but maybe a little bit broader. And then policymakers.
Great. So we'll be now splitting you into two groups. One group, then, as Dina said, will be responsible for policymakers, defining a target message to this group, to policymakers, and the other group will be responsible for defining a message for youth. Then we will think together what this message would be, what is it that we want to bring to them. We will work together for around 20 minutes, and we will later come back to this plenary. We will discuss this idea and we will finalize this activity together. Each group will be moderated, one by me and the other by Dina. I think I can pick youth, Dina, and if your group can stay with policymakers, that would be fantastic. So I will kindly ask Dina also to set the breakout rooms. You will be directly assigned to the rooms, so we'll wait there in some minutes.
Yes, so I will have to make sure that one of us is assigned to one of the groups, so I may need to make it manually, but right now from plenary, you will all automatically move to a breakout. So we are 107 people right now, so we will have half of that in one group and the other half in the other. And then Anna and I will guide you as moderators through the process, where we'll be looking at how to engage this target audience, and we will share some ideas all together. So I have created the groups and I'm moving you to the groups. Just a moment, I will, okay, open all groups. Okay. So now I think we are moved. And we are now in room number, which is the room number now here. I'm trying to understand which room number we are in. Okay. I think people are moving, and we have about half of the crowd. So just a moment. So I think we can start. And we are here on the group to discuss policymakers. So I would like to ask you to please put your cameras on. It will be much more fun to discuss with you than seeing black boxes behind white font. So can you please open your cameras so we can have an interactive session? You can also feel free to open your mic when you are speaking. So I'm waiting for everybody to switch on the cameras. Are the groups working? Am I having, because I have a feeling that I don't hear you and I don't see you. Are the groups working? Hello? Anyone? Okay, I have a feeling that we don't have the working groups. Are we having the groups working now? Oh my goodness.
Okay. Can you hear me, please? Apologies. Hello? Hello?
think you're mute.
Yes, okay, thank you. I was on mute. Yes, I was just, it's 15 seconds for everybody to rejoin normally according to my Zoom here. Works pretty well, I would say.
Hello.
Okay, happy to see you back, and I hope it was a good group.
We had very nice discussions, and our target was youth, so it's always a good target to work with.
Okay, well, I suggest we just spend 1 minute each to give a few insights on what happened on the other side in the other group, and then a couple of words of closing. So please bear with us for a few minutes longer, and we will maybe move to, so was policymakers the first or the second? Would you like to start?
You can go ahead if you wish, Dina, or I can present as you wish.
Go ahead, and I will present.
So we discussed our target group was youth. So we started to think together how we could bring the message to them. Actually, Melita, who was in our group, said, okay, let's not waste a lot of time in thinking what we need to bring to them, but on the format that we want to bring to them. Because actually any activity that you can organize with young people will be somehow easy to organize because they feel engaged, they like to learn about those things, about ocean, about science. So actually thinking about the format that we can engage with them, it's also a good idea. So we thought, okay, let's bring young people to visit an MPA. And from that experience, they can also feel more empowered, and they can also reduce some levels of eco-anxiety, because this is also another topic that came up from our discussion. We could map that actually young people are feeling very worried about climate change, and in some cases they have those nature deficit levels in which they do not have contact with nature, and this affects concentration, etc. So bringing actually young people to nature, it's what we thought could be nice. We thought that a way to catch their attention, we also would need some younger people on the board of creation of this activity, because we would like to create something catchy, create something that also talks to their generation. We know that they spend a lot of time on social media, so it's something that we would like to do, is also to bring the 5 senses to this activity. So touching, experiencing cold, rain, etc. is also part of the process, but also meeting the key actors behind an MPA, for example. So local administrations, scientists that support, manage the MPA, the offices of this the MPA, but also the place where is it in the marine environment? Is it far from the shore? Is it close to the shore? Teachers, scientists, organizations like NGOs could be involved as well. The government in some cases, because for taking kids out of the school, we might need permits, and also a sports club. And we thought this activity could take place across the whole school year, but also it does not exclude the possibility of having a one-off activity well done that can support young people to reconnect with the ocean. And the outcomes and impacts that we thought could be important is, of course, to help youth understanding the full scope of the problems that there are in the ocean, but give them also the necessary knowledge and tools to become active agents of change, and support them to feel more connected with the ocean. I think this resumes a bit of what we discussed in our group.
Well, you would be surprised, but our group also discussed MPAs.
Oh, wow.
MPAs for policymakers. And to cut to the chase, we have 2 titles, even 2 options for a title. One is MPA Activate, and the other one, MPAs as a gold mine policy event. This is the event we're going to be organizing with politicians, municipalities, local fishers, scientists. We said that our first step is to listen to, and also first objective is to listen to what our stakeholders, and our main target here is municipalities. What is it that they find important? What are they concerned about in this political cycle? We also want to educate them and inform them about MPAs, the importance across different dimensions: ecological, societal, biodiversity, economic. And we also want to build their capacity. So we want to actually teach them a little bit. So it is really an interactive policy event that we want to have with the municipality and with different actors who are concerned by the municipality's actions. We thought it has to be something like 3 hours. Absolutely important to have a free lunch and some networking after. And the main outcome and success for us will be if we have a good dialogue with them, really, where we are able to hear them, but also tell them why it is so crucially important for them to be having, strict monitoring of MPAs, new regulations if necessary, and etc. And the first steps for us will be obviously this plan, but then the list of guests. Think of creative communication, how we can trigger their curiosity, booking the venue, and having a social media plan. These were the very first steps, but I think almost there. So tomorrow we can start. Thank you, everyone. We are a little bit over time. We were very good all the time before, but today a little bit less, because I think we can just go on and continue discussing so much more things. But let me now close first with big thanks to Anna Vittoria for working with me so actively in organizing this training on all aspects. This has been a lot of fun, and I hope very soon we do many more things. And actually, we are doing one more thing for sure. Next month, together, is an EU4Ocean training for early career ocean professionals, where we will explore not just ocean literacy. It will be a marginal topic, even though an important one, but also sharing marine knowledge through sustainable and open practices, fair ocean data principles, care and trust principles. So join us, take a look. You can register via this QR code, and this will be training for ECOPS, but of course, if you find that you are a senior manager who needs a refresher on international ocean data practices and how you can share your data and make it accessible through all these means, including ocean literacy, you are very welcome to join as well. We're also having a EuroGOOS International Conference in Larnaca, hosted by our member of EuroGOOS, Cyprus Marine and Maritime Institute. It will be back-to-back with the European Maritime Day, so many of you may be there, and if you are not, think about it. And if you are very far away from Cyprus, don't be discouraged, because we will have all resources available online, and we will also run the plenary workshop, plenary sessions probably in live mode. So keep an eye on our social media, and you will see how you can join either in person or virtually. We also have a post-event survey. So we have told you that you can receive an attendance certificate. And if you find this is something that can help you promote ocean literacy and what you were doing these 3 days, and that this work is really, really important, we can deliver a certificate for all of you upon the completion of all 3 days. So please scan the QR code, complete the survey, but not only if you want a certificate, but also if you really like the training, or you think something can be done better, or you want to have others like that. Help us with a short survey, 5 minutes of your time, complete it, and we will have this encouragement and support and ideas from you to go further. So I will wait for you to scan the QR code. And with that, I would like to express my and Anna's wholehearted thanks for active participation, for your enthusiasm. I think we felt a lot of connection in this training. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you all very, very soon everywhere in the world. Bye.
Thank you all.